Like anything, there is a specific way of doing it most effectively. So if you're exercising, I'm happy. I really am. But I want to show you how to exercise with optimal efficiency. Okay, if you're like me, you're busy. You don't necessarily like to be in the gym. I like to be active. I like to be in shape. I like to look great. I like to be strong. I'm in my 50s and I'm stronger than ever. So it's important for sure. But I can tell you there's a right way to do it to facilitate fat burning and muscle building. There's also an effective, efficient way of doing it. And it's called high intensity interval training. This high intensity interval training is short duration workouts. So we're not talking hours, we're talking 20 minutes or less. These are high intensity, meaning you're working for that 20 minutes, but it's short burst. This HIIT type of training, whether you're doing it in a cardiovascular way or you're doing it in a strength training, muscle building way, actually stimulates the metabolism and it increases your lung and heart reserve. So for instance, your body adjusts to whatever it is it needs to do to get you through the day. If you're a marathon runner, your muscles will get very efficient at managing that oxygen deprivation, so your lungs don't have to work real hard. You watch these marathon runners, they're at mile 10, they're chatting up a storm to their partner. They're not even working hard because their muscles can handle it. Well, what happens then is their lung capacity and their heart reserve actually shrinks because they're not challenging it. If you were to take that same marathon runner and you would have them sprint for a minute and then jog for a minute, then sprint for a minute and then jog for a minute, that's high intensity interval training. You would see them struggling because their heart and lungs are working harder. That's the right way to do it. We want your heart and lungs to be constantly challenged so that they increase their capacity. That capacity is directly related to longevity. So think about this. Why do old people die of pneumonia when a young person can actually recover from a pneumonia? The reason is because that young person has some reserve, but the older person doesn't. Their heart and lung capacity has shrunk to whatever it is that is necessary to maintain their slower life. So we need to increase that capacity and that reserve every day. We need to do this high intensity, short duration interval training to stimulate our metabolism, to increase our heart rate. So it's all out and then slow down, all out and slow down. When you work out in the morning, this is actually best for fat burning. Long duration cardiovascular exercise is not muscle building. In fact, it can even lower your metabolism and encourage fat storage. Your body doesn't know if it's running from the tiger. We are primitive beings, and our bodies are set up for survival. So if you are running long duration, then your body is going to adjust your metabolism to be able to support that. You're going to be burning fat for that particular run, and therefore your body's going to start storing fat for that run. In fact, marathon runners are skinny fat. They are skin, bones, and fat. They have very little muscle. They have very low metabolisms. They eat a lot because they're burning it off in their exercise. But if they were to stop exercising, and you runners know what I'm talking about, if you stop running for a week or two, boy oh boy, your body puts on fat, and really pretty quickly because you've taught it to do so. So keep that in mind. I want you to calculate your heart rate by using the formula on this slide. You take 220, you subtract your age. That is your maximum heart rate. I want you to stay within a particular sweet spot. So the low end of that range, you take your maximum rate and you multiply it by 0.6. You take your maximum rate and you multiply it by 0.8 to find the high end of the range. Okay, that's the sweet spot. If you can calculate that and you can stay within that range, wonderful. If you don't put that much effort into it, don't worry about it, but definitely change your exercise from a long duration, steady type speed to a high intensity interval training. If you're not exercising, get exercising. I'd rather you do some strength training, and I'm going to show you or talk a little bit about what that means and how you do that for maximum benefit. Let's first talk about cardio workout. My favorite is really jump roping, because you can take that jump rope pretty much anywhere. And again, I'm busy. I'm traveling, I'm teaching, I'm working in my practice, and sometimes I need to exercise on the go. So jump roping is an excellent way of doing it. We want to warm up for about a minute, and then exertion all out, 45 seconds. Rest for a minute. For me, jump roping, rest doesn't mean I stop jump roping. It just means I'm not going all out. You can see this graph. On, off, or on, slow down, whatever it is that you're doing. High intensity. We can always increase the intensity. For instance, when my body gets into great shape, it's hard to increase the intensity with jump roping. So what I do is I get a weighted jump rope. I have a jump rope where you can put weights in the handles. You can have a weighted rope itself. Lots of ways of increasing the intensity. You should do a cardio workout 2 to 4 days a week. Any exercise, as I mentioned, sprinting, elliptical machine, you can do in this high-intensity interval training, no problem. I want you to work out between 12 minutes and 20 minutes maximum. When you are in better shape, do not increase the length of time that you work out. Do not work out for more than 20 minutes. Increase the intensity. And I'm going to stop and tell you why this is. In the first 20 minutes of any workout, you are burning carbohydrate for fuel. We want this to happen. The glycogen that's stored in your muscle is stored carbohydrate for this purpose. When you are in this high intensity state, you're going to have burning of that muscle. That is telling us that you are actually burning that glycogen for fuel. After 20 minutes, your body switches from carbohydrate to using fat for fuel. I know this sounds good. I know it sounds tempting, but hear me. I want you to even listen to this a couple of times. It is not good to burn fat for fuel during your workout. If you do, your body will start storing fat for your workout. Believe me, your body is here to support whatever it is that you need to do during the day. So if you're a lumberjack and you're burning fat for fuel throughout the day, your body's going to store fat. And that's okay because you're a lumberjack. But if you're not a lumberjack and you're not using that fat for fuel, then you're just teaching your body to store fat. And if you stop working out in that particular way, then you're going to actually see an increase in fat. So we want to teach our bodies to burn the carbohydrate, the stored glycogen in our muscles. We want to stop at 20 minutes before we start burning fat. And then we want to use the fat, the stored fat, to fuel the building of muscle. So burn stored carbohydrates and use the stored fat that we're trying to get rid of to fuel the process of building muscle. That's the ideal. If you are planning on jumping rope, you can go ahead to the Studio Detox Guidebook for tips about how to succeed. Now let's talk about strength training. This should be done no more than 2 days a week. And the reason is you're going to bring those muscles to complete failure. There is a difference between failure and fatigue. Failure means that you couldn't do another one to save your life. Fatigue means you do a bunch of reps and maybe you even do a bunch of sets, and now the muscle is tired and you can't do another one. When you go to failure, you want to put enough weight on there to where your muscle group, you're doing whole big muscle groups, so lower extremity, upper extremity, back, front, abdomens, lower back, upper back. You are putting on enough weight so that you can't do another one to save your life within that 1.5 to 2 minute sweet spot. Okay? So if you're working out with 6 different machines, for instance, and you're failing at 1.5 to 2 minutes, you've got a 12-minute workout. That's a perfect strength training, muscle building, fat burning workout. If you truly go to failure, you can't do this more than twice a week because your body needs to recover. There has to be proper rest and recovery time between workouts if your muscles truly are to grow. They grow during rest. If you train your muscles by taking them to failure, then you need to feed them within an hour of exercising, which we'll talk about in our post-workout meal, and then you need to rest them for 3 to 5 days. This strategy will truly allow you to use your stored fat to fuel the whole process of muscle growth. You can drink your shake within 30 minutes of completing your workout. So the OptiCleanse Plus shake has all of the nutrients, carbohydrate, proteins that you need to stimulate or to fuel the muscle building process. So think about this. A lot of times people, they'll go work out on an empty stomach and they won't eat after. Well, you have just asked your body to build muscle and then you're not going to feed it? That doesn't make any sense. When you work out in this particular way, you truly are asking your body in a biochemical way to build muscle. So by all means, give it the raw material that it needs. Give it the rest that it needs. Give it extra hydration on those days because it needs to fuel those biochemical reactions. Think about it as, a bunch of workers in your body that are waiting for you to deliver the raw material in order to be able to build the structure. They need water throughout the day. They need electricity to power their power tools. They need fuel. All right? We have to reduce the functions of the body to these basic things that we understand because it's true. These are real analogies. Your body is just waiting for you to tell it what to do and then to give it what it needs to do it and get the heck out of the way. Getting rid of processed foods is getting the heck out of the way. Resting, getting a good night's sleep is getting the heck out of the way. Feeding it with all the raw materials that it needs and the superfoods that we've been talking about is providing it with the nutrients that it needs, the raw materials. Working out in a high intensity interval training is the stimulus or the trigger or the information or the direction that it needs to know what you want it to do. If you want to be a marathon runner, then you're not going to be lean. You're not going to have lean muscle. You're going to need to run long distances. If you want to have optimal body composition, then you want to have lean muscle, lower fat percentage, and therefore you have to work out to give the right direction, feed the body to get the right outcome, hydrate the body in order to be able to pull the whole thing together, get appropriate rest. In addition to all of those things, we need to relax. So stress affects our physical and mental well-being. Stress is actually information to the body. Stress creates a catabolic or a breakdown type of an effect on the body, breaking down muscle, breaking down nervous tissue. These stress hormones give specific and very, very direct and loud information to the body. Undesirable information if this goes on in a chronic way. So we need to release this stress. We need to be in mindfulness. We need to have either a vigorous workout or a calming meditation class in order to be able to balance and to relax. You got to find a way to rid your body of this stress. Sit down for at least 10 minutes twice a day. It's best to do it 10 minutes as soon as you wake up and 10 minutes at bedtime so that you can go into the sleep cycle in a rested, relaxed, calm, ready way. And you can start your day in that same way. There's some great tools. One of the CDs that has really saved my life, I would say, allows me to live my best life is called 10 Minutes to Relaxation. And it's just guided meditation tracks with some music after. I do it in the morning before I get up. I do it at night at bedtime before I go to bed. When my son was younger, I would crawl into bed with him in the evening and we would do our relaxation at night together. And he would crawl into bed with me in the morning and we would start our day this way. It's an amazing thing to teach your children, to teach your partner, to share with your family. Maybe everybody gets together. Maybe these are the best 10 minutes you spend in the day. Make it happen. You're worth it. Sleep, we've talked about before. I cannot overstate the importance of a reparative, restorative sleep. If you don't wake up in the morning feeling ready for your day, then you're not getting the right kind of sleep. Stress, poor eating, poor hormone balance, lack of nutrients, lack of exercise, inflammation, oxidation, all of these things can interfere with appropriate sleep cycle. So even though you stay asleep, if you don't wake up in the morning, like I said, you may not be going through the right sleep process. It's very specific and very important. That MedPAC's bedtime packet's going to help you get into a deeper restorative sleep. Preparing for sleep 10 minutes before you sleep, doing a guided meditation or just a mindful relaxation. There's a bunch of stuff on YouTube. It doesn't matter what you do. Just praying for 10 minutes will prepare you for a better sleep. Have a pad next to your bed and write down all of the things that you are trying to remember so you don't have to worry about it. Have a big talk with your children or partner and tell them about how much you appreciate them. Have a gratitude book next to your bed, and write 3 to 4 things that you're really grateful about. Expand upon them. Not just, I'm grateful for life. Really, what are you grateful about? Are you grateful because your house is comfortable? You have a job that you love? You have friends in a community that you cherish? You have health and wellness? You have the means to do this program? You have intelligence? You have eyes to see? There's so many things to be grateful for. This, believe me, will set you up for a great night's sleep.